Hello everyone, this is Tom with Promediagear, and today I want to introduce you to our new product, the GT2 Tomahawk, an adapter gimbal. Alright, so let's take a close-up look onto this attachment, or they sometimes call it a sidekick gimbal. Alright, so what we have here is the tilting mechanism operated by this knob here, and this is a clamp. This is where the lens goes mounted sideways. On the bottom, we don't have a penning base, since this is meant to be used with ball heads or on monopods. But what we do have is a 3/8 and 1/4 inch threads, or 3/8, 16 and 1/4, 20 threads, and an Arca base. So you can mount it directly into any Arca head, and this would provide your penning. And tilting is provided by the gimbal. Okay. Now we also have a side Arca mount. Okay, and this, I think you'll find that it gives you a little bit of better lens balance, because it mounts in this fashion here. And on this side we also have safety stops mounted, so this would prevent accidental release from the clamp. Okay, so I just inserted it into this clamp. So this is what you do: open up the clamp all the way, drop it in. Now with these safety stops, it's not going to be able to slide in, because that's what they do. They prevent accidental slide outs, okay, and also slide in. So you open up the clamp all the way, drop it in right in the center, and if you loosen it a little bit, let's tighten this, you'll notice that the clamp, is basically just locked in here. It cannot escape. Now you just want to tighten it all the way, preferably at the top location, so it gives you more clearance against the head here. Okay, now you loosen your penning clamp on your ball head, and you're basically free to swing it around. Okay. Now make sure you lock in the knob here so it stays nice and secure. Okay, so we locked in the main knob and leave the penning kind of free to move, and we're ready to mount the lens. Okay, so it'll accept any lens, even the biggest 600mm lenses. And what you have to do is mount the foot of the lens to the side. Can you see that clearly? So with the lens foot to the side, this is how you mount it to the gimbal head. Open up the clamp. Let's make sure you can see this. And just drop it in. Now, based on experience, you'll find a point of balance, which for this lens is somewhere around here. And by point of balance, I mean a point where not a lot of friction is needed for the lens to balance properly. Okay? It's going to depend on the size of the lens and how heavy your camera is. So we found this here. You can easily tilt it up and down. Okay? Also, in this configuration, you notice that the lens is over the center of the tripod, which is for best balance and stability. Okay? And with this setup, you can easily shoot birds, objects, in motion or whatnot, cars, birds, anything. Okay, this is what the gimbal is meant for, shooting objects in motion. All right, you can also use this for some panorama shots, finding the nodal point, etc. Now, if you're shooting something that's really close to you, to the ground, you can actually tilt this forward by loosening the main knob. So this is the kind of setup. And then you can basically tilt all the way down. That's as if you're shooting something like macro shots or whatnot. And the opposite is true as well. So if you want to shoot objects in the sky, again, loosen the main knob. It's going to hold all this and tilt it backwards. So now your camera is free to move up as high as you want. So you can shoot some objects in the sky. Okay? Now let's zoom this to the standard position. Okay? So we've tested this with lenses, 500, 600mm zoom lenses. it's really able to take on anything your ball head is able to tackle, okay? So it's basically just limited by how much weight your ball head can carry. Now let's put on also a very popular Sigma lens, okay? It's the Sigma Sport 150 to 600. And let's mount this lens to the left side just to show you what the differences are, okay? Again, open up the clamp all the way. And with this lens, I don't remember the balance point, so I just kind of did it in the middle. And I can already feel it's very front heavy, okay? So I'll have to move it back. So if you have these lenses, you may need like a longer plate, like a 6-inch plate or 8-inch plate even, okay? The gimbal does come with the plate, with the 3-inch standard plate, and this will let you mount your like standard 70 to 200 millimeter lenses, okay? All right, so let's extend this lens. And now we'll see that once you extend it, you'll see that the point of balance changes, okay? So whatever kind of focal length you're going to be shooting at, that's where you kind of want to balance it, okay? And then if you put a little bit of friction, it's able to compensate. So that works well too, okay? So figure out on your own which side you prefer, left or right. Okay, if you shoot left and you shoot with the eye through here, you're not going to be able to see your subject because this is on the way. So it's probably better to mount it on the right side. This is a very, very nice companion for long lenses. If you don't want to carry too much gear, let's say you're tracking with your tripod and a ball head and you want to have that gimbal capability, then get the GT2 Tomahawk version 2 by Promediagear. All right, so one more very important use of this GT2 Tomahawk gimbal would be in use with the Monopod, okay? So to mount it, like we talked before, we have actually 3 ways of mounting: a 3/8/16 screw, a 1/4-20 screw, and an Arca plate, okay? We actually have it on both surfaces, on the bottom and on the side. On the Monopod, obviously, you're only gonna use the bottom surface. So have a 3/8 screw here, located with the 3/8 hole. Very quickly just screw it in, okay? Now make sure it's nice and tight so it doesn't get loose. Now with this clamp, you can actually operate both on top or bottom. Some people prefer the bottom so they don't confuse the knobs. For me, it's easier with both knobs on top. Okay. Now to mount the lens, obviously open up the clamp all the way. Find your balance point, which typically is somewhere here. Okay, for this lens. Now tighten this clamp very hard. You don't want this getting loose ever. And over here on this knob, you only need a very nice, light touch. So you don't need to tighten this very hard. You want nice, smooth motion, okay? All right, so here it is. We mounted the lens to the GT2 on a monopod, okay? So this will help you get these bird shots in action, whatever else, like maybe shooting airplanes or anything in motion. This makes it super, super easy. Right, if you get older, your shoulders may get bad, or you have some carpal tunnel or anything. This just kind of relieves pressure from your hands and makes it much easier to shoot for long periods of time. All right, so you just basically go like this, up and down. I mean, it's just really, really easy. One other thing too, it actually provides more stability when you shoot at the angle like this, because your monopod doesn't go left to right anymore. Like at this angle, it just kind of alleviates a lot of that side motion. Okay, so it also makes for more stable images when you shoot in this configuration. All right, so check this out online. GT2 Gimbal Head, codename Tomahawk by Promediagear. So really quick, last thing I want to show you is how we use the GT2 Tomahawk with the L bracket. So L brackets are those things that let you mount the camera vertically. So for this situation works really well because we want to mount it to the side mount of the gimbal like this. All right, so I'm using the obviously Promediagear offset L bracket, which is moved forward a little bit, and this already provides a better balance, especially with the gimbals. All right, so to mount it, obviously just open up the clamp all the way. We have the safety stops, so it won't slide out, and just put it in like this. Okay, once again, maybe from this angle, open it up, goes in just like that. So right now you can actually have a really well balanced camera, better balanced than even with the ball head. So if you're shooting panoramas up and down, you can easily tilt up and down. We would have to raise this up here to allow for full rotation, okay? Very nicely tilt up and down with this, okay? Also another thing, if you're looking to find a nodal point, what you can do, and for those who don't know what nodal point is a point where you stitch your panorama pictures. There's no parallax movement, so everything stitches perfectly, okay? So you can use our PXC1 or PXC2 clamp and a rail combo. So basically what you would do is, let's loosen up this clamp. You mount it to the clamp, like this. Can you see that? Is that in focus? Okay. And then you mount your camera to the clamp here on the rail. Okay. Take this off. So what this would allow you to do is move your camera forward and backward. So you find your nodal point, okay? Also allows the camera to be perfectly balanced. Okay, so if you have something that's a little bit bigger lens than this, that's front heavy, this would allow you to balance it perfectly, okay? So we can move it forward here. So that's pretty nice, okay? All right, so this was the PXC1 with the GT2 Tomahawk. Okay, if we need more clearance vertically, we just raise this up. And let's make sure we have everything tightened, okay? So this is what I would call somewhat of an advanced photo setup, okay? Here we go. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. Check us out online at promediagear.com. If you'd rather purchase it at a reseller, look for our reseller page with the links to our resellers, okay? Thanks so much. Have a good day.